Hi, everyone. I am Victoria with Wild Heart, and thank you for being here with me this evening. I really, really appreciate it. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about the name Wild Heart. This is my first video that I'm publishing on social media. And so, I've had the name Wild Heart for a few years now. I've made several nature videos, which I've published on YouTube. And I think I have all of 8 subscribers now because my friends and family, a few of them were kind enough to watch my videos and subscribe. So, gosh, I really appreciate that. Um, so, the name Wild Heart, I have, even though I may not look like it at this point in my life, I do have a wee bit of wildness in me, and I always have. I've always loved living really at the edge of civilization and the wilderness. That's where I'm most comfortable, and I love being out in the wilderness. I love being out in nature. I love living in places where the wildlife can roam through my yard. Sometimes that's been elk, deer, fox, um, the occasional bear. And I really love listening to the coyotes late at night as I'm falling asleep. So that's been most of my life. Most of my life I've lived in the mountains. I now live in a city, and I still live at the edge, though. I'm not comfortable in the middle of a city, so I live basically between the strip malls and the horse pastures, which works really great for me. And again, I just try to get out in nature as much as I can. So that's the wild part. And the heart is that I love to share my heart um, with everyone. I walk the spiritual path as best I can in this lifetime, and I believe that compassion and care for others is the absolute most important thing that we can give to each other. So I do have a story about the heart. I had an experience last week. I was going to publish my first video last week. I had the day picked out. I actually made the video. It was an impromptu thing, and it wasn't polished at all, as is, I'm sure this one is not either, but here I am just trying this out. And so being me, I did want to polish it up a little bit after it was all said and done. And so I had this idea that I would polish it up the next day and get this video published. Well, I ended up in the hospital with a wildly beating heart, which is so crazy, but that's what happened. And I don't say this to worry anybody or to ask for any attention or anything. It's just part of this story that's pretty wild, so to speak. So I ended up in the hospital, and my heart was beating way too fast and erratically, and was a little bit scary. And so they did a bunch of tests, and one of the tests was an echocardiogram, I think is what it's called, and it's the ultrasound of the heart. And I had this most amazing mystical experience watching my own heartbeat. And you know how amazing and wonderful it is when you see a baby in an ultrasound. Watching my heart was really a similar experience. And that heart just beats away, beat after beat, minute after second, minute after minute, hour after hour. And I was just stunned with gratitude at how much this heart has given me through this lifetime. And it beats away without us even thinking about it, right? We're hardly ever conscious of our hearts. And so it was really an amazing gift for me to be able to see that and become aware of it. And after that experience, I found out that our hearts beat 100,000 times a day. That's so crazy. Of course, when you do the math, yeah, approximately 70 beats per minute, which by the way, on AI, they multiply it wrong. They leave a big part out. So approximately 70 beats per minute times 60 minutes times 24 hours is over 100,000 beats per day. And I multiply that by the years I've been on this planet, and I literally can't even say the number. So it's amazing to me how hard these hearts work to get us through every single day of our lives. And given the emotions that we experience that are all over the place, from the best emotions, the most beautiful emotions, to the really, really stressful ones. And so the reason I'm starting my work on social media is because of how much stress we are all under right now in this chaotic world. And I just feel like I want to be a voice on the side of compassion, a voice on the side of peace, a voice on the side of democracy. And tonight I'm not going to get into any politics. In fact, that's not, of course, where I want my focus to be. But I do, well, you can hardly avoid it these days. It just is what it is. We are in the midst of an incredibly chaotic, stressful time. And so I want to be here to travel a path with all of you through these chaotic times to create a better world. I don't want to pretend that I know any more than anybody else or that I know how to do this better. I've had a really, really difficult time reconciling my anger and my rage with what's happening, with the cruelty that's happening, with the rights that are being taken away, with, I don't have to go into all of it. We can go into things in more videos. But I have always felt like the spiritual path, we should be able to, handle our rage and be at a place of peace, at least most of the time. And I've really had a difficult time with that recently. So I want to work through this together because I know so many of us are experiencing that. And what do we do with this anger? And it's not how we want to be. Anger is a catalyst, and we absolutely cannot stay in the place of anger, because if we do, we're falling to the level of where the wannabe dictators, these people who want to control us, we're falling to the level where they want us to be if we stay in that place of rage and anger, and I refuse to do that. So I think about the heart and the hearts that have, in the people that it seems like their hearts have turned to stone. And I wonder about that. I just can't imagine how people can be so cruel and want to hurt other human beings and the planet and animals so consciously, so purposely. So I want to talk a little bit about a myth in the mythology of ancient Egypt, and maybe a lot of you know this. I hadn't really heard of this one before, but it's about the ceremony that took place in the Hall of Ma'at, the goddess of, I believe she was the goddess of justice, cosmic order, and compassion. And when a person passed, their heart was weighed against a feather. And if their heart was lighter than the feather, they were able to pass into paradise. They were able to pass into the dimension of joy and the rest of eternity in paradise. If their heart was heavier than a feather, then they had a pretty bad ending. The soul ended at that point. And I'm not going to go into the gory stuff because you know how that ancient mythology can be. But it has made me think a lot about how we can keep our hearts light, and by doing so, we can create a whole new world together, because that's what we need to do right now. We need to recreate everything and go forward in the light. And again, just create an amazing new world for us all to live in. So that's my hope, is that we can do this together. And I just want you to know that no matter what you're going through, I'm sending you love and peace and comfort and joy. And I don't know how we do it, but I know that we can. So thank you for being here with me this evening. I so appreciate it. And I wish you all the best. Sending love.